Chapter 10. When me and Jay got up on Saturday, we shoveled hot cream of rice cereal into our mouths, then huffed and puffed to cool it down as the steaming grain burned our tongues. Doc sat at the table calm as can be, sipping on his coffee. Mama, though, was bustling about the kitchen, packing and repacking her items for the market. I had a feeling she had something on her mind about our training today, but the only thing she said when we got up from the table was, "Listen to your uncle, and come home when you need to." We both shouted that we would, and as I grabbed my notebook and 2 new pencils, ready to write down everything. "I see you all are eager to get started today. Come on, both of you." Doc stood. "Down to the cabin." As we walked across the dirt, tough with dark green grass, Doc lifted his straw hat and wiped his brow with his fingertip towel. "Whew, it's a hot one, ain't it? But it's perfect weather for your first real root work lesson, now that you know a bit of the truth about the family magic." Me and Jay exchanged looks, excited and a little scared at the same time. We scurried after our uncle to the cabin, so we wouldn't miss a word. "You two grew up around me working root, laying tricks, mixing up potions and powders, picking out plants and such, but now you know there's more to it." Doc opened the cabin door, and we followed him inside. "Some of it will be fun, some of it will make you nervous, some of it you won't like at all, but all of it you need to know." Doc clapped his hands. "And we're going to start with some warnings about what you're going to learn." Jay's eyes glinted at the mention of warnings. I knew he was hoping to do something dangerous, like learn to throw a ball of fire at someone. I didn't think that was something Doc could actually do, but a few days ago I didn't believe spirits could come back from the beyond and talk to us, so what did I really know? When you start working with conjure, root is a type of conjure magic, you're opening yourself up to a part of the world most folks don't have access to, but it also opens up that part of the world to you. Haints and spirits and all manner of things from the stories your grand told, and many of them, most of them, ain't friendly. Doc reached up on a high shelf to grab something. As he did, he nudged aside the box I saw there on our first root work lesson, the one that had been full of devil's shoestrings, the vine that me and Jay now wore. "And that can mean trouble," Doc continued, "which is why you have to learn to protect yourselves first before you can help anyone else." Jay said, "You mean like fighting them? Are you going to teach us to use weapons?" "No," Doc said. "You can find somebody else to show you how to fight. That ain't never been my thing. Besides, you can hit or stab at a haint all you want, but that won't kill it or stop it from coming after you." Jay huffed at that. Doc must have noticed because he said, "I already told you both why we have to paint the house blue, and showed you how to lay graveyard dirt to deter spirits." I noticed he was trying not to grin when he said, "Suppose you forgot to gather the dirt, and an evil ghost or a hag has chased you inside a cabin that hasn't been painted to keep them away. Is threatening to knock down the door and come inside after you. What do you do then?" I shook my head while Jay shrugged. Doc leaned back on his work table. "Give up?" We nodded. "Want me to tell you?" he teased. "Yes. I have my pencil ready to write it all down. Lay a broom inside the door. Before a hag can come after you, they'll have to count each piece of straw in that broom. Or put down a line of salt, and it will have to count each and every grain. But then the sun should be coming up, and the hag will have to leave or get burned up by the daylight." Me and Jay followed Doc around the cabin like little ducks, while he told us more ways to get rid of ghosts and monsters. I was writing so much in my notebook, I wondered if Mama would have to get another one. Jay, though, wasn't so impressed. He didn't write anything down because he said he trusted his brain. He tiptoed and looked out of the window of Doc's cabin. I didn't think learning root was going to be so boring. Doc crossed his arms. "This might seem like a lot to know, but you'll be glad you did when a haint arrives, and they will. Your grand crossed some mighty high water to come see you, so you can see the spirit world is connected with ours. Other spirits besides your grand might be able to make the trip up to this side, too. You have to be careful now. You both do." "We can't just ignore the bad ones?" I thought about how I was going to try to deal with Letty and her friends from now on. Doc placed his unlit pipe between his teeth. "Being a root worker or witch doctor means you have to make some hard choices from time to time. Like a lot of things in life, you have to take the good with the bad. You can't only learn the fun, easy things. Tough things happen, and you need to know that they'll happen so you're prepared to make those hard choices." "What kind of choices?" Jay looked worried. Doc fixed me with a look, then Jay. "I knew we'd get to this point, but I didn't think it would be this early. Come on with me." He got up and headed out of the cabin and down to a cluster of trees whose thick branches touched and tangled together to make a dense overhang. It was much cooler here, and so much darker under the trees that it didn't look like daytime anymore. I know you love animals, Jez, so you might not care for this bit of knowledge. As Doc crouched down by a little wooden cage, I tensed up and he noticed. Remember, take the good with the bad. Sometimes the best way to get rid of a threat is to kill it off. Other times we need to kill things for ingredients to use in our protective magic. I threw a look at Jay, but he wasn't bothered like I was. For the first time today, he looked really interested. I turned away, back to Doc. Luck potions are my most popular, Doc said. He gently took a bat out of the little wooden cage. The creature flapped and struggled, but Doc held it fast and made a little cut on its back with a penknife. You're hurting it, I cried. He shushed me while he worked carefully. Most root workers will kill a bat outright, cut out its heart to make a batch of luck potion. Doc collected some of the bat's blood in a little bottle. I don't do that because it's hard enough catching bats. No reason to reduce their numbers. Blood is enough? Jay asked. Yes. Doc put a little salve on the bat's cut and let it go. It flew up into the blue sky, then faded from sight like a shadow. He took a different bottle out of his bag and showed it to us. This is what the potion will look like when it's finished. Soon I'll show you all the ingredients and techniques you'll need to finish it. Jay took it and pulled open the cork. He sniffed it. I need some luck tomorrow. I'm playing baseball with Larry and them, he said. Then he tilted the potion up and took a drink. No, wait. That's not for drinking. Doc tried to grab his arm, but it was too late. Jay had already downed almost half of the bottle. His eyes got huge, then he coughed. Ugh, that tastes stinks. You weren't supposed to drink it, Jay. You sprinkle it on yourself like cologne. Doc was trying not to laugh. So was I. Jay coughed and hacked and wheezed while he wiped his tongue on the hem of his shirt. Why are you laughing? I'm probably going to die. No, you won't. Brush your teeth when we get home, then you'll be fine. Doc took the bottle and shoved the cork back in it and put it back in his bag. Love potions are made the same way, except you use a dove instead of a bat. That's awful, I said. With all the roots and flowers and herbs around, why don't you still have to use animals in some of these spells? Doc kneeled down next to me. Animal sacrifice is a part of root, Jez, always has been. We are thankful for their life because it helps preserve ours. I stuck my lip out. You're thankful, but you still take it. Slowly, Doc nodded. Yes. Oh, come on, Jez, Jay said. It's just a bat. You don't like them anyway. That's not the point. I crossed my arms. I wouldn't hurt a bat any sooner than I would a dove. Or a cat? Doc asked. Is there a spell that uses cats? I was going to be sick to my stomach. Doc nodded. The bones from a black cat are powerful. I won't do that one. Ever, even for magic. I felt tears welling up inside me. Why can't you use something from the cat but not hurt it and let it go after? Like the fur instead of bones. Mama does substitutions for recipes all the time. I couldn't stop myself from talking. All I could think about was what happened at the marsh, how powerless I felt compared to such a strong force. I imagined that was how the animals felt. Is that why Mama doesn't do root? I asked, because she doesn't like killing animals? Jay elbowed me. Mama's killed chickens and all kinds of fish and stuff to cook before, and I bet she would kill anything if it tried to hurt her or one of us. He was right. I hadn't thought about food. You ever done it? Jay asked Doc. Killed an animal for a spell? Yes, I have, Doc said, his voice serious. I caught the animal, gave thanks for it, and killed it as quickly as possible. My mouth dropped open. Gran too? I asked. Yes, your Gran too. She's the one who showed me how to do it. Is that why people think root is wrong? I asked Doc. I was starting to wonder if this was really something I wanted to learn to do. Maybe, but lots of those people kill also. They stomp on bugs, they destroy trees because they're growing in an undesirable place, they kill animals because their numbers are too large, but they don't give thanks before they do. Doc shook his head sadly. Some people take and never give back. Taking and not giving back isn't good, especially not for a root worker. We're supposed to help care for the land around us. Jay tapped his cheek like he was thinking. Suppose someone gives things to you, like when people brought bushels of crabs and dishes of cooked food to the house when Gran died. Doc nodded. Exactly right. That's not taking. That's people caring for others by giving freely. It was a tradition people had on the island to bring cooked food to people who had lost a family member as a way to ease their burden during a difficult time. I patted Dinah where she lay in my pocket. Learning root work was a way of honoring Gran. I would learn it too, and I would take the good with the bad. But I still couldn't let go of the idea. Isn't there another way to work these types of spells besides using things from animals? If there is, I'm betting you'll be the one to find it, Jezebel. Doc looked up from his bag of roots and leaves. Well, that's enough for today. It's almost time for your lunch. Oh, I thought we were going to learn root all day. Yeah, I chimed in. Mama isn't home waiting for us. You kids got to do something else because I need to make some potions this afternoon. I gave you a lot to think about already today. I don't want to confuse you two with a lot more ingredients and instructions. Oh, we won't be confused. I wrote everything down in my notebook, even the stuff about the animals, so I can keep it all organized, I said. Besides, I already have some of the potion names here. I read out the list I'd made of all the labels on the bottles on Doc's shelves. Well, excuse me, Doc whistled. I am impressed. Okay, then, we'll go inside and have some lunch, then spend the afternoon learning about some more of my best-selling potions. Maybe you can even help me mix some. It'll help me get my stock back up faster because I tend to sell out of them real quick.